What's going on, everybody? Aidan from Birds vs. Boys here. We are on to week 9 in the NFL season. The Eagles sit at 5-2, and it's Kelly Green week against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Thanks for everybody who's been tuning in on YouTube, Spotify, and our lives on TikTok. I am joined by my co-host, Kevin Messina, a lifelong New York Yankees fan.
The only sport that makes sense for me being a fan of. Continue.
The New York Yankees and the Dallas Cowboys. Kevin, I get to ask you a question that you get to normally ask me. How are you doing today?
Those two teams seem to have merged in the World Series. The New York Yankees just turned into the Dallas Cowboys in the World Series. I literally dressed up as the top of the 5th inning as the New York Yankees yesterday for Halloween because it was the scariest costume I could think of after watching that 5th inning. Doing great. Cowboys, I told you earlier, you said not to say this. I don't really know what's going on with them right now because it was the World Series. The Cowboys stink. But I have a question for you.
Okay.
Why do the Eagles keep wasting Kelly Green games? Like, why are you wasting the Kelly Green game on the Jacksonville Jaguars?
That I don't know. Well, this was supposed to be a Sunday Night Football game, so I think that was why originally, and we got flexed out of it. So I think the primetime Kelly Green was the move. But it's still a 4:30 game, so it's still, kind of primetime. It's primetime for everybody except for college football. Where they've made noon the prime time, which makes no sense to me. You did bring up something interesting that I have thought about in the past. When your baseball team is really good, like going to the World Series, playing in the playoffs, it's hard to give any emotional effort to other teams because it's like an everyday thing. Like you're thinking of every inning, every pitch. They play pretty much every day.
Yep.
So, like, it's emotionally tolling.
Like I haven't seen a Monday Night Football game or a Thursday Night Football game in like 3 weeks.
You haven't missed anything. You haven't missed a thing. The Rams Vikings was pretty good last week, and it ended on a face mask call that was so blatant you could see it live in SoFi from the 700 level, and the referee right in front of him missed it. And aside from that, you haven't missed too much, but you're back. So the baseball season has unfortunately come to an end for both of us.
It is very unfortunate. However, I'm very tired. So not having an 8:08 start tonight, to be up till midnight, emotionally and physically drained on every pitch, I'm okay.
This is the most like white guy podcaster thing, but I totally agree. Like after baseball season, win or lose with the Phillies the past few years, I'm like, I'm tired. Like I'm genuinely just tired. Like I'm stressed for 4 hours. My heart's racing at rates it's not supposed to every single day for a month. It's not supposed to do that. Nope. And then, then it's over and you're like, well, I'm sad it's over, but I do like the fact that I can reclaim my life and sleeping pattern.
And I don't think I'm going to have to worry about this again for a long time with the Yankees because I think Soto's gone, and I think this was their moment. And Aaron Boone turned into Mike McCarthy.
Well, brother, you are preaching to the choir on missing your window because I think we're a year ahead of you on missing the window. So
until Soto becomes a Philly.
He's requesting $700 million, I saw, and I don't know how we're going to do that, even with the unlimited spending that we have. So
they were interviewing him after, and all the Yankees reporters like, so do you want to come back? And he's like, I wouldn't say that. I'm going to talk to every single team that wants to talk to me. I'm like, that a boy.
Yikes. Okay, so New York Met, Juan Soto. That'll be fun.
Or apparently the Dodgers are all in. I don't know
that
how.
Would suck.
If they got Soto, I'd be like, okay, bye.
Yeah, that would actually, this year, I think, was a great year for baseball, put them kind of back on the map. A lot of big teams with big names were good. It was a historic season. Them getting Soto and creating a lack of parity then would probably just destroy everything that's happened. So we'll see.
And you know what's even scarier is like they had basically 2 starting pitchers. Like Glass now didn't play. The other dude's still suspended. And everyone's like, well, why are they going bullpen game? It's like, because some of their best pitchers aren't here, and yet they just won the World Series.
And their MVP is also a Cy Young level pitcher and will start pitching again next year. So it'll be a ton of fun. And oh yeah, his contract doesn't kick in till what, fucking 2038. So they can sign Juan Soto if they want to. It'll be a ton of fun for the rest of us.
Welcome to the football podcast, everybody.
Welcome to the football podcast. That was the baseball recap. Now you don't have to hear about anything baseball related on the show until March, but we have a ton of hope in the football season, right, Kevin? There's a ton of hope and positivity just oozing from the Cowboys fan base. Isn't that right?
6-11. I think this team will be lucky if they get to 6 wins.
You guys have reached the point. You guys have reached the point. Like every fantasy owner like looks up rushing defenses. You're becoming the defense that you look up and you're like, oh, my guy plays the Cowboys. Like this could be a week where he breaks out and has a big game. I have Bijan in fantasy. I'm like, oh, the Cowboys? Ooh, give that to me. It's like when you're in Mario Kart and you're like, oh, I like you have like your favorite race courses. Mine was always Moo Moo Meadows and the Coconut Mall. And I was like, if I get on those tracks, I'm fucking flying. That's how fantasy players feel when they're playing the Cowboys defense.
All right, well, let's play a little fantasy game here then. Okay. I'm going to play with you. So the Cowboys are sitting at 3-4. They've had their bye already, so that's gone. I want you to legitimately give me wins and losses here as I go the rest of the schedule. Okay?
Okay.
At the Falcons this week.
Win.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. 4-4. Home against the Eagles.
Well, hopefully loss. That might be a win as well. Like we have not, to be honest with you, on paper, we are the more talented roster, and I'm going to do a 99 positive things about the Eagles in this show. That might be the one negative. We've never beaten them on the road in the Sirianni era.
Okay.
So
okay. All right. So you have them at 5-4.
Yeah.
Home against the Texans.
Loss.
5-5. At the Commanders.
Loss.
5-6. Home against the Giants.
Win.
6-6. Home against the Bengals.
Win.
7-6. At the Panthers.
Win.
8-6. Bucks at home.
Whoa. Win.
9-6. At the Eagles.
Loss.
9-7. Commanders at home.
Loss.
9-8.
Well, no, I'll stick loss. Yeah,
Okay.
I think they're a 9-8 team. I think they're an 8-9, 9-8 team. I think that's fair, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're any better than that. I think that's the I think what you just laid out is the best scenario.
I think so too, but it's also a plausible
I
scenario.
could see a loss to the Commanders on the road. I could see a loss to the Bucks, and I could see getting swept by the Eagles.
Yeah, those are all like 50-50 coin flips. It's like you could see it either way.
I think there's a lot of question marks too in all of these games, right?
Yeah, not with just the Cowboys. Like
Micah doesn't look like he's ready to go at all. He's not going to play this week. He's still limping around, right? Deron Bland, who it was a 4 to 6 week injury when it happened, but everybody in terms of the Cowboys were saying it's a more conservative, more towards the 4-week type injury. They really penciled in that Steelers game as when he should probably come back. We're almost a month out from that Steelers game now. He was just activated on IR, off IR. But the only reason that happened is because they opened the window. And if they don't, then he's done for the season. But he's not playing this week either. So he's not ready to go. I haven't heard a damn thing about Tank Lawrence.
Never a good sign, by the way.
You know who else I haven't heard anything about? Brandon Cooks. So, you know what else I haven't heard about? Do we have a running back? It's just like, I think what happens Sunday is going to determine where this team goes. I think if they pull out a win to make it 500, Jerry might try and go get somebody by Tuesday in the trade deadline. If they lose to Atlanta and drop another game under 500, you might see them try and sell a piece or two.
So 2 factors. One, you talked about all the question marks. There's a lot of question marks with the Cowboys. I think there's a lot of question marks in the NFC. Like
True.
the Bucks looked incredible, and they lost their top 2 starting receivers. They lost last week to the Falcons, so they got swept by the Falcons this year. That makes it really tough to win the division. Like, what are the Bucks that are on your schedule? That's a potential wild card team. The Falcons, who you play this week, I think are a pretty good team, but they are not like stone cold killers. We probably should have beat them and would have beat them if it weren't for one play.
But do
So
you
it's
need
like
to be a
you look at
stone
all,
cold killer to beat this Cowboys team?
no. But that's the thing. It's like every game you guys are going to be in is going to be like a 50-50 game. So like this win could propel you momentum wise.
But
A
they
perfect
stink, so
example,
take like 10% off. So it's really 60-40.
60-40. The Steelers is a perfect example. You beat the Steelers on the road. They're a pretty good team. This was pre-Russell Wilson, and they look better since then. But at the same time, like on the road against the Steelers defense is not easy. I feel like there's a million games that you're playing that are all like, well, they could win and eke out a win or lose by 21. I don't know.
And I think also on I mentioned the injury question marks, right? There's question marks on the offensive line. We've been talking about it all year with the rookies, but then also now with Zach Martin. I think I mentioned it before the season started on the show that I think this was going to be Zach Martin's last season, and
Yeah.
it's one of two things. He's either hurt, and he did miss practice this week for an injury, and I almost hope he's hurt because of how bad he's looked, or he's jumped off the cliff of decline, and it's over. It's been bad from Martin, which is scares the death to me. But the other big piece of this is Dak Prescott. He is playing the worst football of his NFL career this season. Flat out, no question. The pass out to the flat, I don't know why he can't make it. Him and CD, don't tell me that it was just I just don't understand how they could be so locked in together last year, and now they're completely seem like they're off. And again, I've joked about this, but it seems like the Packers game still hasn't ended because that's when it seemed like it started. Remember how weird it was? Like even like the first drive and CD was on the sideline and Dak, and they looked and we're like, what happened? And they haven't regained it. So if all of a sudden Dak gets 35 to 40% better than he's played so far this season, yeah, they could probably beat the Bucks. They can probably steal one from the Eagles at home because the Eagles will eagle and no one will fall on a fumble on a kickoff return, and there won't be anybody that clearly recovered the fumble. And something like that could happen, and the Cowboys could win. Or Dallas Goedert, or was it Goddard who had a horrible? Yeah, that was a great call of offensive pass interference. So those things could happen. But that's a lot to ask for.
It is a lot to ask for. It's not a great position to be in when you're playing the game of, well, we could eke out this win if these things break our way, if this breaks our way. Is there give me one thing that, aside from Dak Prescott, like what could change that kind of propels you to make it stop being 50-50? Is there anything? Aside, well, I guess health would be the one thing.
Trade for one of the 3 starting running backs that the Jets have that are just sitting on the sideline.
Their stubbornness to mix in Braylon Allen is like the Mean Girls quote when she's like, stop trying to make fetch a thing. Like this split share between Breece Hall and Braylon Allen, who is averaging 2.6 yards per carry, is infuriating.
Yep.
But take Braylon Allen. It'll help me as a Breece Hall owner.
You know what's even funnier is I think it was prior to the draft and prior to free agency, Braylon Allen and King Henry were all off season working out together in Dallas together. They were right there.
They were right there.
I get it. You can't afford Henry, but it's just a pick.
It's just a pick. Oh, I forgot. Speaking of being right there, I was at the Dallas-Fort Worth airport. I was on the little SkyTrain thing, which takes you all the way around the airport, up in the sky. I could see the stadium in the distance. I was there about 4 p.m. Texas time.
Oh, the
sun was shining right off the stadium. Got to see it live. The sun just beating down on that thing.
It's It's God. It's a double middle finger from God. I swear
Yep.
Jerry Jones sold the soul of every Dallas Cowboys fan for those 3 Super Bowls in the 90s.
Shining down and just melting them. Just
It's the
melt.
devil.
I will say this as somebody who's been through this with like the Sixers, every team I've ever rooted for. Sometimes the vibe just isn't there in the fan base because you're like, you just can't get over the mistakes and it's over before it even happened.
Yep.
Like you realize the mistakes.
I
It's like,
cannot believe it's week 9.
Yeah. It's over. Like and again, I just gave them 9 and 8. That'll probably get you the 7th seed in the playoffs. But I think the lack of trust in the front office, the fan base kind of, like this selling the season ticket thing. Like it's just hard to, I think that type of morale seeps into a locker room. And I've seen it with teams that I root for. It's just like there is a lack of belief system in a team. And without that, like some fans, we're dumb people, but in ways we're not dumb. And I think that's one of them. Like most times, at least in Philadelphia, we know if this team is capable or not. And you could be like the 2017 Phillies were in first place in August, but deep down, we knew. Like everybody was like, yeah, they're not a contender.
Well, I think that was even me during this World Series. Deep down, I knew that the Dodgers were a better team.
Yeah.
And the Yankees have been playing sloppy all year. And you can be sloppy and get through the American League and get through the Guardians and the Royals. But then when you step up and play an actual World Series contending team and you're sloppy, you're done.
True.
And you were saying you just, kind of said, well, I gave him 9 and 8. That's a playoff team. I don't need 9 and 8 going on the road to the Bucks and losing.
Been there,
and then having the 23rd pick. I want 6 and 11, dead to rights, new coaching staff, new head coach with the 6th overall pick.
See, and that's where it's hard to believe. It's like I want my team to win, but I realize we are at a focal point, not a focal point, like a jumping off point where we could reset this. We could be good for the next half decade. We got a good core, but there needs to be change. It's front office change that can't happen. Coaching staff change that will happen, and a influx of new talent, which also could happen.
Yeah, because it's, okay, you make it to the playoffs, you lose in the first round, they don't re-up Mike McCarthy, you're at the same point you were in terms of having a new coaching staff, but you have a back end pick like you are a good team when you had an opportunity to just say fuck it and get a top 5, top 6 pick with a new head coach. Now, obviously, you're not going to go quarterback there because, you signed yours. But you either take an amazing offensive lineman, you can take an incredible edge rusher or a corner, or you're at the perfect position for the second quarterback maybe to be there and someone come up and overpay.
Yeah, or you stick and get Shador.
Yeah, God, shoot me. Oh, speaking of drafts, I don't know if he's. Yeah. No, I'm sorry. I can't, Siri. No one can help me. Mozzie Smith, 119 players at his position. Do you know what he's ranked?
119th.
Boom.
Dead last.
It's unbelievable. He's like,
that is shocking.
His PFF grade this past week, we got the same PFF grade sitting right here.
0.
It was like a 30 or something, but it was like at that point, it's like you are not an NFL player. That's basically what the grade says.
That's kind of like when you get points for putting your name on the SATs. Like you could get every question wrong, but as long as you put your name down, you get points. That's Mozzie getting a 30 in PFF. That's like, you did Michigan. Play in the game. It doesn't mean that you did anything.
No more Michigan. Taco Charlton, Mozzie Smith, Luke Schoonmaker. The only player they've hit on Michigan was Jordan Lewis. That's it.
I can't wait to talk Eagles and talk about the school we draft from and talk about how those players are playing right now from that certain school.
See, the Cowboys draft from this past season, I think it's going to be good, but it's raw and it's going to take some time. Where the influx, what you guys got, immediate impact players. But that okay. So let's get over to the fun stuff, the good stuff. You think they're going to win? I think they're going to lose in Atlanta. Going on the road. Now this team has been better on the road. And I will say, especially in like the first half or so, like they actually gave fight, right? And they looked like they had fight in them against the 49ers. And real quick, I love Micah Parsons, but again, these podcasts, he had who was it?
One of his teammates
Trayvon Diggs on after the whole D's nuts thing with Leslie. But he had Trayvon Diggs on, and then they were talking about the 49ers, and he's like, yeah, talking about scheme. He's like, if I'm in there, D-Law in there, he's like, Kittle's not going off because he's got to stay in and block and this and that. And he was talking about that long Kittle play. Micah, last year, Kittle had 3 touchdowns against us. In the playoff game before that, he had 119 yards and a touchdown. Like, he has gone off in every single game in the past 3 games that we've played them, playoffs included, which you were on the field on. So if I know that, why don't you know that? Just stop. Like, I don't know. Like, and they almost played them better without you. Now, I get it. Granted, they were missing players.
Mm-hmm.
But still, I mean, Debo literally couldn't breathe. And if he didn't drop 2 passes, it would have been a blowout. And once again, this was like the Ravens game where they came back and then they could be like, Jerry could be like, well, I liked things that we did there. No, I wanted this to be the Saints game. But then they clawed back and they made it a 6-point game. And they're like, well, maybe no.
Yeah,
the third quarter. Jerry Jones was like, I liked that game. If we could just take away the third quarter, we would have been good. Doesn't work that way, Jerry.
If you took away the second act of the play, Abraham Lincoln could have stayed president.
Yep. And I believe, if I read this correctly, the Cowboys defense has allowed a touchdown or points on every second half opening drive this season.
So you're like the Eagles Antichrist, where we don't score at all on the first drive of the game.
Yep. So you're gonna love playing against us. Just take the ball.
That might be our time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. So yeah, I think the Cowboys lose. I think the weapons that Atlanta has, Bijan's gonna go off. I just feel I could just see this like being one of those Kirk Cousins games where he just like can pick them apart. They're not. I mean, they can't get pressure, so Kirk's probably going to be, comfortable. It's going to be loud in there. Dallas has never done well in loud environments.
Atlanta.
When what?
When has Atlanta been loud? Ever?
Well, they pump fake crowd noise in. So.
Oh well, that's fair.
Didn't they get draft picks taken away for that?
They did.
Oh no, was that Atlanta or was that
multiple teams did?
Yeah. So I 1:00 game. It's like.
But that's the perfect spot. Be under the radar for once. Don't play Sunday Night Football. Play an NFC South team at 1:00. It's almost better than if they're on the road, because if they go 3 and out, home fans start booing. Or if they give up a touchdown, they throw the ball, Drake London touchdown, 7-0. Fans are like, oh, here we go again. Now you're on the road. It'll be a 50-50 crowd. The Cowboys fans will take it over. It'll be kind of split. And it's like, all right, let's just fly under the radar and get a win, and then keep trying to improve.
And that speaking, and you just said Monday Night Football. That was the run, Aidan. I had last Friday night, 10th inning walk off, right?
Yep.
With Freddie Freeman. Saturday night, 8:00 start. They got their dicks kicked in, basically. Yep. Sunday Night Football. Monday night.
Yep.
Tuesday night.
Yep.
Wednesday night.
Yep.
I was so tired. And then last night I had Halloween.
Yeah. Nonstop.
I just want to go to bed.
This is it. Friday night. Call it early.
Mm-hmm. I'm counting down to my leave to go to Mexico next week.
Oh, God. You'll be flying in on the Sky Mall in the Dallas airport.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no. So we're actually not going to the game now.
What?
Yeah, it got vetoed.
By who?
Everyone.
The radical left?
Yes.
Damn.
Marco Rubio.
Yeah. Well, at least you still get to go to Mexico.
Yeah, true. Oh yeah,
That's it. Very solid consolation prize is a
yes,
beach trip
I will
to
take
Mexico.
it. I will take it.
Yeah,
All right, let's
honestly.
get into the Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay, now we're done with the doom and gloom. Let's talk about the Eagles. All right. I sat here in this exact spot. I think I was wearing this exact hat after they lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I said, that was awful. They got demolished. Here we go. It's a bye week. They'll get everybody healthy. They
Yep.
have a favorable schedule at that point. 4 straight games against teams with losing records. If they show life, if they show that they are good, they should be able to create momentum, win some games, get themselves back on track. The toughest test of that was the Bengals. A week before that game, I said they've won 2 straight, but if you want the fan base to buy back in, go on the road, beat the Bengals, beat Joe Burrow. That's not your typical team with a losing record. It'd be a strong win on the road. Strong is the word. They were strong in every single point of that. So I would say absolutely incredible job in that win. The fan base is bought back in, and it is Kelly Green week. They
And
are
I just got an
exactly
alert.
where I hope they be. 5 minutes after they got their ass handed to them in Tampa, I said, if they do this, they're in a great spot, and they did it. So kudos to them. I know it's doom and gloom a lot, and it has been at times. Absolute top-notch kudos.
As I just got an alert that Trayvon Diggs has a tear in his calf muscle.
A little bit more doom and gloom.
But you're right. I mean, the Eagles are going for what, 6 straight wins now? Would that be
4 straight.
4 straight? That's what I meant.
Bye week counts as a win because everybody got healthy. So we'll say
True.
5 straight.
I mean, and when you get play that is accelerated from young players immediately, it gives such and jolt to the team.
Oh my, it gives me life.
Yeah.
I said this before. I'll say it again. Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean might as well come to my Thanksgiving and Christmas because they're in the top 10 most important people in my life. The Cooper DeJean play on Jamar Chase, I don't think I've ever watched a normal regular season play more than that. Like, he follows him across the formation, man to man, fights through the screen, tackle for loss on 4th down. They are so far and above normal rookies. And it's not just that. It's the fact that the Eagles said to themselves, find out who these guys are. So they started Cooper DeJean over Avonte Maddox coming out of the bye week. He's been incredible since. Quinyon Mitchell has looked like a starter right away. They didn't mess with Isaiah Rodgers or anything like that. But Rodgers has been good. I will say that. But they were like, Quinyon Mitchell's a starter. Recently, Nolan Smith is getting snaps at a higher rate at defensive end than ever in his career here at the Eagles. He has 3 sacks in 3 games. He has a sack in each of the last 3 games. Jalen Carter, they're like, he's the next Fletcher Cox. We're going to play him like that. Nakobe Dean, they're like, we're not messing around signing another veteran and bringing veterans guys in like we did last year. Nakobe Dean is the Mike of this linebacking core. He calls the plays, he's playing. And it has paid off so much, and it is paying off more than ever before with these young guys. And it is just phenomenal to see.
I mean, that's what you need. And it's really, I mean, I don't give Sirianni credit for much because I'm not a fan of Sirianni, but to basically have your job on the line and do this is very impressive. Like, because so many coaches would be like, I'm not trusting the young guys with my career here on the line. I'm going to play the veteran guys. No, he's saying, you know what? I think my best option, the team's best option, is to play these young guys. So we're going to play these young guys and we're going to see how it works out, because I think he knew it was the right thing to do across the board. And he was right.
And in an offense that has been heavily criticized, while he's been heavily criticized in the biggest moments where his job was on the line, they did not lay down and instead put together their most impressive offensive performance against Cincinnati since the 2022 season. It was the most fluent that offense has looked in 2 years. And I will say, as what we are crediting Nick Sirianni, and we could add Kellen Moore in this as well, they are able to listen to the players and adjust. So Reason being, I say that Brian Baldinger tweeted this out. I don't think he probably should not have tweeted this. There was an increase in play action passes from under center. Somebody comments and says, why is that the case? Why has there been an increase? And he said, players spoke up that they didn't like how the system was running, so they changed it. Probably should not tweet that those conversations are occurring in the locker room, but it does go to show the coaching staff is having this dialogue with players. That leads me to believe you are a pretty well-oiled machine.
Yep. And I'm going to say you're welcome because my youngest daughter, Madeline, was christened at 11:30 on Sunday. And then the family came back to the house for the Eagles game at 1:00, and they were that fluent. So God touched her and welcomed her to the world officially, and then the Eagles did that offensively. So you're welcome.
What's the middle name that you gave her?
Grace.
So if I have a child, it will be Grace Quinyon Powers.
Perfect.
There we go.
Jean. Cooper.
GQP, baby.
Cooper Grace Mitchell.
Cooper Grace actually sounds like a cool name. Or Grace Cooper.
Yeah, I like it.
That actually sounds really cool.
Quinyon Cooper Grace.
Quinyon Cooper Grace Powers.
Perfect.
Oh my God. I love them so much. They made plays. So again, turnovers. And if we want to talk about this week against the Jaguars, I would like to see that happen again. So we finally got takeaways, fourth down stop, interception, all these things. I would love to see a fumble recovery. I would love to see all this because you're facing a Jaguars team that's going to be down Christian Kirk, down Brian Thomas Jr. How do they push the ball down the field without these guys? I think Travis Etienne's been banged up as well. Bigsby has kind of taken over that running game, but it's been a little brutal running the ball. Like, it's never been a great offensive line for Trevor Lawrence. So you're going to have turnover opportunity plays if your defensive line continues to dominate and force things.
And I think coming off that game last week, I think the fan base is going to be revived in this game. It's in Philadelphia, right?
It is in Philadelphia, 4:30, Kelly Green.
Yep. That's
all night revival. 11-minute live version.
Yep.
At Lincoln Financial Field.
100%. And it's going to be hell for Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I really think this is a game. I hope I don't eat my words because I just want this train to keep rolling and rocking in the station. I know that game meant a lot to them. Like, they were good against the Giants and they just totally dominated them, but it was bland because it was like they played 3 quarters and it was non-competitive. This was competitive. Like, that game was 17-17 and they absolutely dominated that second half. So it's just like, I know that game meant something to them. They've won 3 straight. The vibes have to be high. They're coming home for the first time. Like, they've played 3 home games. This is just the 3rd home game, to be honest with you. So it's the first game that really feels like a home game. 4:30 Kelly Green. It just feels like you could get a ton of energy out of this team. So I'm really excited for this. And I hope it turns into sacks, turnovers. Like, you're getting life from a lot of these guys.
60 degrees and sunny. But, well, we turn the clocks back Saturday night, so it's going to be dark early too.
Hey, but that's all right. Under the lights, that's good for football. Not good for us. Good for football though. Primetime little under the lights action. So that'll be fun.
I have full confidence that Philadelphia will handle this. I mean, the NFL left the Jaguars in England for 2 weeks. They're just like, yeah, just go. Like, that's what they feel about the Jags.
I was really worried Doug Peterson wasn't going to make it back.
I know.
When they didn't win that second game, he was finding jobs in the UK.
I think I texted you guys and I was like, why is no one talking about the NFL just literally leaving the Jaguars in England?
Insane.
Like, yeah, just stay for 2 weeks.
They don't want to they want to keep them in Jacksonville and they're renovating the stadium, but they're also sending them to to England 2 weeks in a row.
I'm very surprised they're also not playing in Germany now this week.
I was gonna say, the Germany game is Panthers Giants.
Can you imagine if you are German? I would just be like 9. 9. Are you excited about the end of 9?
No, 9.
But it's going to be Bryce Young again. So
down, and they traded Deontay Johnson this week. So.
Yeah, Speaking of trading for wide receivers, what's going on with your guy who you guys
My
traded
guy?
for from
Who?
Washington?
Oh, Jahan Dotson. He's nothing. He's nothing.
It's crazy.
Very disappointing.
Yeah, that's
How much of it is that we're just not throwing the ball a ton?
Yeah, it
Maybe
could
that's the overarching thing is like there's only so many targets to go around. Two guys dominate the amount of targets that go around. The past 2 weeks, we've thrown the ball 34 times total. I'd say a normal NFL team throws the ball 34 times per game. We've thrown that total over 2 games.
Cowboys
So
throw that in a quarter.
exactly. When they're in garbage time, Dak throws 34 passes in a fourth quarter.
Mhm.
So I think part of it is just target share. I will say this for Jalen Hurts, much better against the blitz this year. Last week, much better throwing the ball over the middle of the field. And the offensive line is just like a Call of Duty zombies map when you get really far down in the levels. And it's like, okay, I killed one and then there's 6 more. Like this is just an insurmountable amount to be able to defeat. They keep sustaining injuries and dominating up front.
It's wild.
You think about it, like Jason Kelsey retired, we were worried. Cam Jurgens was good. Landon Dickerson's been great as the guard. Lane Johnson goes down. They get potential out of Fred Johnson, who hasn't played a game since 2021. He plays well. Mekhi Becton on the island of misfit toys for the New York Jets comes in and dominates. He gets hurt twice. Tyler Steen comes in, second round pick from a year ago. He was great. Jordan Mailata gets hurt. They're like, Fred, we need you again, buddy. Get back out there. He's good in run support. Like, it's just, they are the Call of Duty zombies map if you make it far enough where it's just like, you can kill one off, another one's coming. It's just insurmountable to deal with. They were phenomenal again on Sunday, and I think they could probably push around the Jaguars a little bit. They have their formula. The formula is set.
If it works, just keep doing it.
They're getting 5 yards a clip with Saquon, and then they're turning around. They're running play action. They are able to protect Jalen. He uses his legs sometimes. I think his legs have looked a lot better this year than they were a year ago. And then it's like, all right, now he's utilizing the middle of the field. By the way, I'm just raving about everybody right now. Grant Calcaterra has been awesome in support of the hurt Dallas Goedert. So they just keep cracking the code. And usually when you talk about potential with a team, that usually means that they're not living up to it. And I don't like when analysts are like, oh, if they ever tap into their full potential, they'll be really good. And it's like, okay, but why haven't they? Like, there's a reason they haven't most times. So I don't want to say the Eagles tap into their full potential, but I do think that they have their formula and how to succeed, and they have put it together. They are secure and solid for the first time this year. They realize who they are, who they need to be. That gives me a ton of comfort and confidence.
And I would say, I mean, you mentioned the 5 yards a clip with Saquon. I think the addition, Saquon and Derrick Henry, I think with what they're both doing for the respective teams right now, are the best instant impact running back free agents picked up in a long, long time.
In the same year. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. Crazy. And it kind of revives the running back position that you would spend money on a running back, especially Derrick Henry, who is older.
Wow.
I think he's
watching what those two are doing. And then also what this rookie running back class is doing. You even mentioned Tank Bigsby. And the Cowboys brought back Zeke.
Yep. Or even go back to 2 years ago, like Jahmyr Gibbs. Awesome. Or even guys that are like, you could have just taken a flyer on. David Montgomery, who is Jahmyr Gibbs' running mate. Awesome.
Kyron
Aaron
Williams.
Jones, free agent with the Vikings, playing well. You guys got Dalvin Cook, and the Vikings got Aaron Jones. Kyron Williams, Notre Dame guy, right there. It's your guy. He has a touchdown. Kevin, he has a touchdown in 9 straight games. You know that? That's insane.
I knew what he was going to be because I watched him every Saturday. And they're like, oh, well, he's a little small, this and like, no, he's a dude. Like, he's a badass.
He's awesome. I was watching that Rams game a week ago. He is phenomenal. That's another team. Keep your eye on. They're 3-4, but they were 3-4 without Puka, without Cooper, and now they got those guys back with Kyron. And man,
they're not selling.
They're not selling. They went from, in a span of 4 days, they won 2 games, got both the receivers back, and are now a game back in the division. They went from sellers to they could win the division in 4 days.
I think this is the year, though, the Eagles need to pounce. Like, they need to run up. They need to run the schedule up.
Yep.
And win every winnable game.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is the year. Like, I think it could be them and the Lions in the NFC Championship game, but you want to run up every win you can get, so that game is in Philadelphia and not in Detroit.
Absolutely. And everyone's talked about the Lions schedule already, but I'll bring it up again. They are playing outdoors for the first time this season. It is week 9. They're playing at Green Bay. Luckily, they got that game at the beginning of November and not at the end of December.
Make them come to you in Philadelphia at night.
Make them come to you in the cold. I think the Lions, speaking of teams running up, if it's not this year for them, I don't know if it'll ever happen. They're on another level from the rest of the NFL in terms of offense right now. I don't know if you saw this, but Goff threw the ball. I think it was eight times total. No, he threw the ball like 12 times total. He had 3 touchdowns. They put up 52 points. Like they're chewing teams up and spitting them out. They are another level. But again, with the Eagles, like keep this up. You're in the window you need to be. You have started to crack you haven't started to crack the code. You have cracked the code. You know what you are. You're comfortable in your own skin when everybody's healthy. I like where they're at offensively. So keep that rolling. I will stake this claim right now. This is the week we score in the first quarter. This is it. We're the first team since 2000 to make it to week 9 without scoring in the first quarter. We break it this time. This is the week. This is the week.
Kind of feels
I don't know
that
if you
way,
caught
right?
it. What?
Take the ball.
Take the ball. That's what happened last week, which is actually really funny. The Bengals' first drive lasted 10 minutes, and we didn't really have the ball in the first quarter. So we were driving, and the quarter ended, and we were like at the 10-yard line, so we could have scored, but the time ran out in the first quarter, which is pretty funny.
Sirianni just should have kicked a field goal. Like, we're getting points.
On third down, we should have kicked the field goal. Just we got points in the first. This is the week. This is the week. I feel great.
Hey, it's officially fall. It'll be cool. It'll get dark. And you got the Jacksonville Jaguars rolling into town.
Hey, hell yeah. It'll be good to see Dougie P again, but listen, we got to hand it to you. We got to hand it to you. I have one quick thing, non-football related. I have nowhere else to put this, but I want it on record. Do you have time for this?
How long is time?
1 minute. I can finish this in 1 minute. I have a conspiracy theory. I need to get this out here. Okay. Have you seen the video of the dashboard cam accident where that was the insurance scam?
Nope.
Okay. So this woman is in her car. She has a dashboard cam, so you can see it. Somebody swerves in front of them and then slows down. So think Trey Young playing basketball.
I think I did see that. Okay, yes. Yeah.
And when it doesn't work, they actually reverse into her. And then they get out of the car and they're grabbing their neck like, oh, I'm so sore. But they don't realize she has a dashboard cam. It goes super viral. So she makes it goes through all the major news applications. She makes a follow-up video like, oh, we had to file the insurance report. In the video, the driver runs away and gets in another car. That car had slowed down traffic behind them. So everyone's like, this is a clear insurance scam. And she's like, thank you for everybody who reached out. We're going to try to file a police report, but they said it had to go through insurance first. Luckily, I had this dashboard cam, and she links it in her Amazon. And then I'm looking, and I see a tweet and says that video was so jarring, it made me want to buy a dashboard cam. And then I go on TikTok, and we're being live lately, so I've been looking at lives and how people do it. There's a live selling dashboard cams. I think I'm on to big dashboard cam. I think this lady was involved. It's
all set up to sell dashboard cams. Set up
exactly, so that they all start racking up the codes for the dashboard cams. Now everyone's buying it on Amazon. And guess what's going to happen next? Your insurance company is going to say, "Oh, if you sign up with us,
Yep.
we'll give you a 5% discount for safety if you have a dashboard cam. So they make money. The dashboard company makes money. I'm on to this, and I need it documented on this conspiracy theory. I know what this is. I got it. I'm on to them big time.
I think you should make a political ad for this.
I want to. Big dashboard, big insurance. I am on to them. If I disappear, it was nationwide, and it was the dashboard company.
I'm going to make sure that you get, when you disappear, we get footage from a dashboard cam of them taking you away.
That would be funny if I made a video. It was like, they almost abducted me. Thank God I had this dashboard cam. Like, oh no, they got him too.
Hey, if you had a dashboard cam that time that police officer was not so nice to you, might have helped.
I hilariously, she kept saying, "Oh, I have footage of it." And I was like, "Do you have it?" The judge asked her. She's like, "Do you have it?" And she was like, "Well, no." Like, well, that would have helped in court. So you have this footage of me running a red light, but you just didn't bring it to the court hearing for it.
So I have something similar, and we can end on this. So I have a company car. I got an alert from our fleet company this week that I have a $121 parking ticket in Brooklyn on June 20th when I was at home on paternity leave with a 10-day-old baby, not in Brooklyn. And I have pictures of me with the baby at home all day that day. They have my license plate and everything. And I'm like, this has to be some, and my fleet company just paid it. And they're like, now you owe us $121. I'm like, no.
You're also like territorial sales. So wouldn't your company know? Like,
yep. Yeah, that's not my territory at all. And so we can end with this. Aidan, here you go. This is Cooper DeJean Grace.
Maddie Grace Quinyon.
Maddie Grace Quinyon. You were christened on Sunday and then turned the Eagles offense into a juggernaut. Congratulations.
And I am forever grateful, Maddie. Thank you so much. We need it again on Sunday against the Jaguars. Look at that smile. She knows. That's a win coming. Look at that smile. Someone's ready for Kelly Green.
She's going to take my job. All right, you want to close us out, Maddie? Say follow us on Twitter and Instagram with lives and TikTok at Birds vs. Boys Pod. And anywhere you listen to podcasts, we are there with full episodes. And thank you for subscribing to our YouTube page, Birds vs. Boys Pod. Make sure you hit that subscribe, like, follow, and comment. Go.
Perfectly done.
I'm not going to say it. Football.
And that's a wrap. Thank you, Maddie.
Chris Hansen here, and I'm going to need you all to take a seat right over there and check out Birds versus Boys.
I think you're completely right here, and I hate it.
Yep. Hey, idiots. Stop doing dumb things. I got 2 phones.
Upset alert.
I might go insane.
I think you're already there.
There's no hope. Hope is gone. If this was an AFC North podcast, we'd be done in 15 minutes.
Bob Hope.
I'm going to drink bleach.
That is
the team you promised me you were going to be this year. This is the Cautiously Hopeful podcast.
I'll be watching.